In today's video, we're going to take a dive into the November 2025 housing update for Cedar City, Utah and St. George, Utah to give you an idea of what these two housing markets currently look like. My name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. If you are looking to buy, sell, or invest here in Southern Utah, I would love to help you out with that. Please feel free to call, text, or email anytime. That contact information is down below in the description. Now, I say November 2025, we are actually looking at the month of October year over year for the last 10 years. I'm recording this in November because I had to wait until November to pull the full and complete data. Now you can see I have pulled up some slides so that you can get a visual of these two markets. We have our new listings in blue, our active listings in red, our pending listings in purple, and our sold listings in green. What I really want to focus on though are the active listings. There are currently 342 active listings here in Cedar City. You can tell by the graph that is the highest we have had in the last 10 years for the month of October in Cedar City. That means our inventory is up quite a bit. As far as our new listings go, we have 106 new listings. That means everything that came to the market in the month of October. That is higher than it has been in the last 10 years as well. So not only are we having homes sit on the market longer, creating more of an inventory, we have also had more new listings come to the market. As far as our pending sales though, those are also up higher than they've been in the last 10 years. We're sitting at 92 for the month of October. That means that we are still selling homes. Homes are still turning over. As far as our closed listings go, that's at 73, not the highest that we've been in the last 10 years, but definitely the highest that we've been in the last 5 years. So homes are still selling here. Inventory is up though, so that is going to affect our monthly supply and our median sales price. Now, days on market, I always like to look at this because it tells you as a buyer or a seller how long a home has been on the market. If we need to look at adjusting a price if you're on the seller side or buyer side, if there's room for negotiation. I have both median here in blue, average here in red. Median is going to be right in the middle. That means half the homes took less amount of time than this to sell, half the homes took more amount of time than this to sell. Currently in 2025 of October, homes were sitting on the market for 43 days. That's median, and then 75 days as an average. You can see that's pretty typical. We're actually down from last year at 48 days, not our highest, not our lowest, but roughly about a month and a half. As far as average days, that's quite a bit higher than our median days on market. That takes into account those outlier homes, either homes that are in a very niche market, homes that are on the higher end of the price point and have a smaller pool to fish in or a smaller pond to fish in. And then it also takes into account those homes that are overpriced and are just sitting because the buyers know they're overpriced and the sellers are unwilling to negotiate. So just something to think about here when you see homes sitting on the market for an extended amount of time. We want to take a look as to why that is. Now for St. George, same thing, new in blue, active in red, pending in purple, and sold in green. Same thing with St. George. Active listings are sitting at 834, higher than they have been in the last 10 years. New listings though are pretty comparable. You can see that line is pretty even all the way across for the last 10 years. Right now, new listings at 267 for St. George. Our pending in purple is sitting at 158, a little bit less than last year, but still on the same trajectory as the last 4 years, hasn't quite gone up to what we saw prior to the pandemic. And then our sold listings are sitting at 151, also slightly down from last year in 2024, but again, pretty comparable to the last 4 years. It's really these active listings, those homes that are sitting on the market, that are adjusting our markets in these two locations. And I'll show you what that means. As far as days on market go for St. George, we have 35 days as a median days on market in St. George. So just over a month, really not that long, but still the highest we've seen in the last 10 years for St. George. Average is sitting at 75 days, pretty comparable to Cedar City's average. That is the highest that we've seen in St. George as far as an average days on market, with the last time being in 2016 at 73 days on market. So really a big difference between our average and our median days on market. Again, it's going to depend on the price point that you are looking at. that. Homes on the lower end of the price point tend to turn over a little bit more quickly because the pond is a lot larger. There are more people that can afford the homes on the lower end of the price point than there are people that can afford the homes on the higher end of the price point. So although this is an overview of all of St. George, we really want to take into an account your specific pool that you are shopping in to see what that days on market is going to be. Now, the absorption rate is your monthly supply. That means that if no new homes hit the market, it will take this many months for our current inventory to be eaten up or to be absorbed. We have Cedar City in blue, we have St. George in green. You can see Cedar City is just over a 5-month supply. St. George is just over a 4-month supply. If we take a look at what typically happens, less than a 6-month supply is considered a seller's market. Home prices will appreciate. Between 6 and 7 months supply is a neutral market. That means home prices are only going to appreciate with inflation. And then more than a 7-month supply is going to be a buyer's market. That means home prices will depreciate. With our two markets, though, you can see both Cedar City and St. George are higher than we have been in the last 10 years. So although we are sitting right around 5-month supply for both of these markets, we are seeing our buyers having more opportunity and sellers are having to make more concessions. And that median sales price is starting to trend down or to remain the same. So for example, I've got Cedar City here. I want to take a look at the median sales price and the average sales price. Median here in blue, Cedar City went down for the first time in 10 years in our median sales price. 2025, we're sitting at $350,000. Last year in 2024, we were just under about $100 under $400,000. So that's a pretty big dip in the median sales price for Cedar City. I will say that we are seeing a lot of townhomes and twin homes go up here, and that definitely is affecting that median sales price. As far as the average sales price, that has trended down the last few years slightly. Remember, average takes into account all of the properties, you add them all up, and then you divide by the number of properties that have been sold, where median is going to be right in the middle. That means half of the homes sold for less than $350,000 or around that, and half of them sold for more than that. So you can see how the monthly inventory and the homes that are currently being supplied right now will affect that median sales price. For St. George, the median sales price is $529,000, which is exactly the same as it was in 2024 at $529,000. St. George saw their dip from 2022 to 2023 and then has been trending upwards or remaining the same because of course that inventory is up. Same thing with the average sales price. St. George saw a dip from 2022 to 2023, but since then the average sales price has been trending upward. Now the reason I wanted to bring that up is because more inventory means more choices. This takes a look at the national picture of how much inventory has increased in the last year. This is ending September, but you can see in the West, we are in the West, that inventory has increased 21.1%. You saw both Cedar City and St. George, our inventory is up higher than it has been in the last 10 years. This is important to understand for home buyers. Lawrence Yoon, he's the chief economist with the National Association of Realtors, shares home buyers are in the best position in more than 5 years to find the right home and negotiate for a better price. Current inventory is at its finest since May of 2020 during the COVID lockdown. You can see from our charts, this is the best time for buyers in the last 10 years for Cedar City and St. George. So I want you to think about that as you think of whether or not you want to be purchasing a home in the near future. A lot of buyers are waiting for that sweet spot. If you are one of those buyers, I want you to think about what that sweet spot looks for you. The National Association of Realtors has said that a 30-year fixed rate mortgage of 6% would make the median priced home affordable for about 5.5 million more households, including 1.6 million renters. If rates were to hit that magic number, it's likely that about 10% or 550,000 of those additional households would buy a home over the next 12 or 18 months. That means all that competition comes back to the market. Right now, we're sitting roughly around 6.19%. That's going to be your average 30-year fixed mortgage. It's right around there. It's going to be different depending on your circumstances, debt to income ratio, credit score, those kind of things which of course you would want to talk to a lender about. But I want to show you, if you were to drop from that 6.19%, which is kind of around where we're at right now, it's the beginning of November. If that were to drop just below 6% or at 5.99%, that's really only going to be about a $50 a month savings on a $400,000 loan. Now, we definitely want $50 more in our pocket each month. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when all of those buyers come back to the market, that creates more competition for you. That eats up the inventory a lot faster. That means you are more likely to get into a multiple offer situation, possibly feel rushed on your purchase, and possibly forego things that you wouldn't have to forego if you didn't have that competition there. So for example, lower rates is going to equal stronger buyer demand. This buyer demand based on the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, above 7% is a weak buyer demand. Between 6.5 and 7% is limited. You have limited buyers out there. Between 6 and 6.5 is good. You can see we are still selling homes in these two markets. Those are up. They don't look any different than they have before. However, once it gets below that 6%, so between 5.5 and 6%, that buyer market is strong. So that is something to think about if you are looking to purchase a home in the near future. Now, I also want to talk to sellers so that you can understand what the market looks for you right now. Most of today's inventory growth is made up of homes that aren't selling quickly. You saw our active listings are quite a bit higher than new listings that have come to the market. That gap is getting larger. We have here in green the new listings that have come to the market. In blue, those are the active listings. That means that these homes are taking longer to sell. So I want to take a look at a few reasons as to why this might be happening. The first one is it's priced too high. Right now, you have a lot of competition because our active listings are up, which means you have to price competitively. You cannot price like you did 3 years ago to just see what you're going to get. You really do need to take a look at the data, take a look at the buyers that are out there, see what other properties compare to yours, and price it in a way that makes yours look a lot better than the others. Sellers who have skipped repairs, that is also affecting their property and it is sitting on the market longer. It is worth making sure you have good curb appeal, you have fresh paint, flooring needs to be cleaned, take care of that. We also want to make sure that we aren't skipping the staging. And I don't mean having a staging company come in there and rearrange all your furniture. I mean declutter the area, pack it in the garage if you have to, get all the lights on before a buyer comes through, open the blinds, make sure it's clean, make sure it smells well. All of these things are going to affect how the buyer sees that home and what price point they put on that home because they are comparing that home to all of the other homes that they are seeing. They're not just looking at one home and stopping, they are looking at several homes and they are comparing that. Now, we also have sellers that aren't willing to negotiate. They are looking at it and saying, well, my friend sold their house 3 years ago for this price. We don't want to do that. We want to realize that the market is where it is. We have to take the current data and where it sits right now, not where it sat 3 years ago. Right now, I am seeing most of the sellers make concessions and I am seeing the buyers getting the homes less than list price, right around 95% of what it actually listed for. So it's important to understand that if you want to sell your home, you want to be willing and open to negotiate that sales price or make some other concessions if you need to sell that home right now. If not, hold on to it, wait for the market to shift, make it right for you. Another area that is hurting sellers is limited availability, meaning you aren't allowing it to be shown at convenient times. A lot of buyers are working. They might need to see it in the evening or on the weekend or when it is inconvenient for you. If they can't get into the home, they can't see the home, you can't sell the home. So make sure that you are making the home available for them to see. And then of course, we want to make sure we have good marketing. It is so important to have a professional photographer get in there and really capture the essence of your home. Cell phone pictures aren't going to cut it. Also, make sure that it is prepared for the photographer, it's cleaned, it's already decluttered so that the photographer can get the very best pictures of your home. Those pictures are what is going to bring the buyer to your house to take a look at it. Now, I did go through that pretty quickly. Hopefully it wasn't too quick and you got the information that you needed. Remember, this is an overview of St. George, Utah and Cedar City, Utah. It is going to be different for every neighborhood, for every price point. So we definitely want to get together to make sure you have the most up-to-date data for either your home that you are looking to sell or for a home you are looking to purchase. My name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. I really would love to help you out with this, so please don't hesitate to reach out. I promise you I will respond.